Hello and welcome to Crossover, and this is Charlotte and Julian.
Hi.
You know, about last year I went to New York, and that was my first time, very, very first time to be in America. And you all know from all these films that we know that America is really a tipping country.
Yes.
You know, you have the tipping traditions, and we were kind of worried, and if we're going to tip.
Well, I'm worried too.
When? I mean, that's always going to be a problem.
Well, but you tip in
I
France.
went to New York last time, but no, we don't tip as much. I remember, the typical thing I remember is a scene from Friends. Remember when...
Exactly, that's where I got the lesson.
Okay,
you know?
okay. Here's Ross, Rachel, and Rachel's father eating together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And leaving. Ross is the last to leave, and he notices that Rachel's father actually tipped 10%.
But actually...
And that was like a crime to tip 10%.
Yeah, 10% is not enough.
In France, it's all right to tip 10%. It's normal. But apparently in New York, I'm not sure it's the same in the whole U.S., but in New York, in Manhattan, tip 10%, apparently it was like Ross was actually left some more money.
Well, you know, it's
but
interesting.
it was actually a treatment from Rachel's father, right? At the time.
But the thing is, he was afraid that maybe next time, I'm thinking, maybe next time he gets there, and the waiters and everyone remembers that, oh, he's the one that came last time.
The bad tipper.
Yeah, the bad table at least, oh, those guys, they don't tip that much. And
well, I'd say now in the States, I've been in China long enough that I sometimes get out of touch with these things, but it's, as far as eating out goes, a usual tip is 20%.
20%.
20%, and usually restaurants will have like a requirement where if you're a table of 6 or more people, they automatically add an 18% gratuity.
Oh, really?
charge.
So that's like...
So you don't have to tip.
the rule.
You can leave a little extra if you want, because it's 18%. You could make it 20.
All right.
But you will be charged.
Well, it's a little bit like in China.
Charge,
but you have those things in China, and well, less in restaurants. Well, sometimes in restaurants too, but especially in the nightlife clubs and everything. Where they...
Once again.
No, but it's the same principle. It's the same, come on. It's the same principle.
Blushing.
No, it's the same principle. You have a big table, you have a minimum level of, minimum charge. I mean, if you want a table with 8 people and everyone is drinking a bottle of beer, they won't give it to you.
You have to spend at least that amount of money.
Yeah, that's different.
For a table,
I think.
yeah. But
sure.
But do you have experiences of tipping for your service in China?
In
China? Beijing, yeah.
In hotels.
In hotels.
Hotels.
But you're talking about the 15% service charge.
Yes.
On the menu, you will see the 15% written.
So everyone is ready for that.
Exactly. Once you get the bill, they add the service charge is detailed like this. And, well, supposedly, I don't know how it is in New York, but supposedly in China and in France it's the same. You have the service charge included in the bill.
But there might be
so
a major difference.
So it's not voluntary. You're not choosing to tip.
No,
you have to pay for your service charge.
But there is also one major difference, because according to my understanding, tippings and tips, like in the restaurants in New York, it goes to the waiter or waitress, right?
Yes.
It does, so it's very...
It all goes to the restaurant.
Well, that's the different thing. So it's actually really funny, because in China, I went back to France, I was not used to this. You have to wait so long to get served I don't know in Europe, but in France it's like this, because it can only be one waiter. Because you're going to tip at the end, you tip only that person.
Talking about tipping in restaurants. Here's some little tip, okay. And now she's paying.
Still, yes, but I think it's strange in Chinese hotels to actually tip.
Yeah, she's leaving 10 kwai. You know,
it's kind of strange.
What?
I don't know. It's not that common in China.
China is really not a tipping country.
It is not a tipping country. And it's actually, it's sometimes, especially the more it is, sometimes the more it is 5-star hotel, the more inside the hotel they have the rules. They have the rules that they are not allowed
to take tips.
Or ask for tips. Because normally the simplest thing that starts with is the doorman.
Yeah.
The doorman
concierge.
the concierge. Those guys you tip.
They open doors for you and
carry your suitcase.
In China,
how much would you tip? If it happens?
In China?
No.
No, in China, don't try. You'll get the guy fired.
back in New York, or I don't know.
At least a couple dollars.
Well,
it depends.
It depends really. But here's one funny story. let's talk tennis a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi, they had this really long-time rivalry. And a while ago, they were doing actually a charity event with Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal. So like the two big rivalries of two different decades.
Earthquake,
for the
no?
Yes, for the Haiti earthquake.
Yeah.
And so everything was going fine and everything. But the problem is, Agassi just got a book out. And there was a lot of controversy because he started to say he was, you know, he had taken drugs, but it was not like a performance enhancing. It was really destroying drugs. And also he hated tennis because of his father, and he started to take really hits.
You can tell after your retirement.
And then he started to, and in the book he takes hits at his old rivals, including Sampras. He was saying that, you know, I wish I was like Pete Sampras, who was kind of boring, but, you know, everything about tennis and everything.
Tips?
And about tips. That's the thing. About tips, he said that Sampras once was tipping a guy, you know the guys who helped them park the cars?
Valet parking.
A valet parking.
Yeah, a valet.
Okay.
And the valet told Agassi once that Sampras once tipped him $1. $1. So that's, you know, that was a huge story.
Because is it
That's
because
a little
$1.
low.
And so what
Even
happened was,
for people, I mean, no big stars, or is
Yeah, it's a little low. It could be
It's-
he didn't have change.
so what happened in that match actually was that Sampras started to imitate Agassi, those little steps and everything, and then Agassi said, so how do I imitate you? And then he started to say, oh, let's wait a second. Oh, no, okay. Oh, I think I have $1. You know, that was really bad. Agassi actually apologized afterwards.
You know, and see, I think this story actually demonstrates, really in the States anyway, just how important tipping is. Because a lot of times, especially in the service industry, your salary isn't at a competitive level, and these people in the service industry rely on tips
Right.
to
That's part
supplement
of their salary,
as
daily
part of their
wages, yeah.
income. Yeah.
And some of them actually make a really good living because some of them know how to take care of the clients.
That's right.
And they really
So,
get
I mean,
a lot of money out of
Yeah.
it.
In restaurants, because the only place that talking about restaurants, the only place that I know we might not need to tip is like places like the instant food chains like McDonald's or KFC.
Oh, yeah, never tip at those places.
You don't tip.
Or
at
Starbucks?
Starbucks, you can. Although an interesting phenomenon with Starbucks is in the States they have a charge card. You can put, say, $20 in a card, and then instead
For
of
charity
paying,
or for
no,
the
no,
for service?
instead of paying cash, you just give them your Starbucks card.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of like a debit card,
Yeah.
but specifically for Starbucks. And ever since these started becoming popular, people stopped tipping, because what happens is you buy a coffee that's, say, $1.50.
Yeah.
You give them $2, you put the 50 cents in the tip
Yes, on
box,
the
because you
that's
don't
the-
want the change.
That's right. With
And
the
so
debit card, you don't have the changes.
you have no change. You have no money involved. And so
They stopped
tipping in
using it?
Starbucks has gone down a lot.
Oh,
Yes,
right.
well, it's the same in France. My father was saying that since everyone's paying with a credit card and everything, you don't tip that much because you're not used to having that much, you know, cash or change.
Yeah, I mean, because talking
same
about
thing.
tips in China, because as we said, we don't have the traditions in China, and most of the places where tipping does happen is really the places where there's the connection between Chinese and foreign, because like the hotels or restaurants. And
That's right.
there is a very interesting phenomenon. And basically what we see actually is a series, in a drama, but it's, I guess, it's a reflection of what's happening in China. Let's take a look about tipping in toilets.
Tipping toilets. Oh, I know about that. I know about that.
Here,
Yes.
this looks like
part
a
of the TV
nice
series, but the
bathroom.
guy in white, he's
Yeah,
working
to
in
get
there.
a little massage, a
Oh,
little.
look at that.
No, this is not massage, but
No, that's
no,
cleaning his coat.
I've had worse than that.
Okay, let's
I've
take
had
a
worse.
look at this first. And he's kind of embarrassed. He's wondering what the guy's doing.
This form of tipping is like, just get the hell off me. What I've had, nightlife again.
Oh,
Hey.
our nightlife
Back to
expert.
Back to your world.
In many bars, like clubs in Beijing, you have, and it's embarrassing. It's, you know, you have those guys who are supposed, you know, they're taking care of the bathroom and keeping it clean, and everything. And you have usually like the bathroom is not, the men's room is not that big, but usually you have at least 3 or 4 or 5 of these guys, and they are like they're there just waiting for guys to actually, you know, tip them. So what they do is they come to you and they say, hi, 你好大哥. It's like,
Hello,
you know,
big
hello,
brother,
big brother,
you know,
like
we're
trying
buddies.
to be nice to you and say, oh, are you tired? Are you having fun? And they start, while talking to you, they start giving you a massage, you know, like, yeah, give me your back. I'm gonna.
Okay, yes,
okay.
I'm gonna enjoy it.
Hello,
Yeah?
你好大哥.
Okay.
可以吗?
yeah.
That's the way.
We have to clarify a little bit. We don't see that massaging in toilets that much.
No,
I mean,
no,
Not that
this
much,
is
but
specifically
in
clubs, bars.
quite a lot of clubs.
Yeah, and that was, but I did actually experience similar things in New York this time because I was taken to a very nice restaurant or bar because with very nice view. It's called The View, you know, The View, that restaurant. And in that toilet, similar things happen. Not massage, but you do see a little plate over there by the basin with some dollars bills or coins over there.
Yeah.
Well, I
And
believe.
he was taking like towels or paper.
Yeah, I think in
toilet
the
paper,
States, in your average restaurant bathroom, you don't have. I mean, I think in the States that's a sign of a very upscale, very upscale restaurant or joint, club, bar, cafe, whatever.
That's actually, yeah. I think in the States actually it's more natural in those kind of high class, you know, high standing places. But in China, what we were guessing, somebody told me last time that, you know, he was sure that all those bills you see in the toilets where they do those things,
yeah?
they put in themselves. It's like some of the beggars, you know, they put that in there.
Those are the starters.
Of course.
Same thing.
Of course, of
But
course.
yeah, for sure. I mean, in America, it's pretty important. I think in New York, in Manhattan especially, it seems that
anywhere in the States.
yeah, anywhere in the States.
Yeah.
Okay,
We do see, I mean, back in China, we do see one industry where tipping is happening is like a norm in the tourist.
今次班業主又唔知揾啲咩人嚟修理我啦！
離家出走啊！
追！
咪走！有事慢慢講啊！
身家性命有關，唔合資格嘅承建商，千祈唔好掂我。
都叫你今次 check 清楚啲㗎啦。
當然有啦，屋宇署網頁有呢個承建商同埋認可人士個名㗎。
咁就放心啦。
唔合資格，唔好掂我。
I've actually had times where I've wanted to tip someone in China and I've gone to give them a tip and they refuse to take it. And then it becomes very awkward because you're tipping because, you know, you want to
satisfied with the service,
express your satisfaction and your gratitude. And it becomes this big back and forth. And, you know, in China sometimes someone might say, no. But if you keep pressing them, they'll take it in the end.
Yeah, I mean, that's just
right?
that's
the
Well, some people,
kind of way to
some
go.
people are they're not used to it, so they are being nice and
yeah, but I've tried. I mean, I've really pushed sometimes, and
But
what I did,
I mean, talking back to the tourism industry, because maybe it depends on different companies. Because I've also had some friends who are doing the tour guides, and they are the tour guides, and they know. I mean, a very important part of their income also depend on the tips from the guests, and sometimes they feel happy because they have a huge group. That means they have better chance of getting more.
Sure.
Yeah. But do you feel sometimes it happens this way because you're a foreigner, though you've been living in China for a long time, but still, I mean, in some cases they don't know how long you've been here, but only because you're foreigners, they expect that you will give tips.
You know, Xiaojun, I've had that happen to me in five-star hotels. For, when I travel for work and I'm fortunate enough on some occasions to stay in nice hotels and the concierge will help, bring my one suitcase, small suitcase into my room. And, I'm not against tipping. I'm American. I'm a tipper. At the same time, you respect the laws or the rules, the soft rules of the country you're in. And sometimes that means you don't tip.
Well, you grew up here, so you know.
I know, I grew up here, so exactly. But I've had people kind of, do that little dance, kind of. Nothing as blatant as this, but
Nothing happened actually like this to me. I mean, it's because we're Chinese and they just don't expect us to tip.
Yeah, it's I've had that before. Even I've had a taxi driver talking to me.
You
and
take
saying,
lots of taxis.
I take. Well, I'm a taxi guy. And
too,
he was,
actually.
yeah, he was talking to me about how, you know, foreigners are so. Foreigners, at least, they know how to behave and they give tips and everything in Chinese.
Our understanding is like if you tip for your service, if you're really happy about the service, it's okay. If you don't tip in China, that is also okay.
And it doesn't mean you're not happy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's only you don't have, you know, you didn't even have that thought, that idea.
That's
And
right.
it doesn't mean, it doesn't make other people unhappy either, because
Right.
they're not really used to tipping.
Yeah, and just because the other day I was talking to a friend from Australia, and he had this interesting experience in America once again. And because, and interestingly, Australia is not a tipping country. And he went to New York and he had a very nice meal and he didn't tip. He just paid, you know, according to the bill without tipping. And later on, the waitress just came back asking him a simple question. Is there anything wrong, sir?
No.
Does that happen a lot? And he said, no, everything is perfect. And there must be something wrong. And next, it's the manager coming over. And I didn't say, you didn't tip.
Oh, my
There's
God.
only, is there anything wrong? So that just shows how important that might be.
Exactly, and because technically tipping isn't mandatory. There's no law that says you have to tip.
You can't.
Yeah,
It's
but
just-
there's kind of the,
It's just that the norm, the way you
is
do
a-
it is you tip.
it is a dark rule.
Yeah, it's an unspoken rule.
Oh,
basically.
I mean, how
unspoken rule.
strict would that norm is? Would not that norm be in France?
In France, it's not strict. I mean, I don't think it's like Manhattan. I don't know about the rest of the U.S., but apparently in the U.S., as you're saying, it's pretty
not
big.
just New York,
It's
it's
not
all
just, it's
over.
pretty big.
Yeah.
I'm sure L.A. is pretty big too. And in France, well, you can tip and it's very welcome, but it's not that much. I mean, if you tip 10%, they'll take it and they won't be bad to you. I mean, it's totally normal. And I've had that actually when I came back to France a few times these years, where I have to bring friends, even my girlfriend this year. We went to the hotels a lot and everything. And you kind of realize that, especially in the restaurants or in the hotel, when you're, especially I've stayed in 4-star, not 5-star hotels in Paris, but 4-star hotels, where the service is already very, very good.
I'm
Those
sure.
4-star boutique hotel, excellent service, excellent breakfast and everything. And once you get there, you have the kind of the valet or the guy who takes care of all your suitcases. And you know, the hotels in Paris are very, 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 very narrow and everything. And they have, sometimes, you know, they have an elevator, but that goes only to, let's say, the
one guy
3rd
in there,
floor.
yeah.
And then you still have to take the stairs to get to other rooms, and it's pretty heavy. And we were I remember once we were trying to do it ourselves, just because we were embarrassed not knowing
What to
tip. I was not against tipping. I had already spent a lot of money, so I was not against tipping a little bit. But I don't know. Do I tip like €5?
Yeah, sometimes
Do I
you worry.
tip-
Is it too less?
Yeah, I
or-
remember we
little or
talked about
too
that last time.
much.
Okay.
Exactly.
I mean, sometimes
Because
it
I
can be
remember
too much.
last time we talked about this, and I told you about €10, and you, what, €10? This is
I know, 10
a
euros.
lot. This
10
is a
euros
lot.
for carrying some bags.
Yeah,
That's
but
big.
That's okay, that's big, but then it's a 4-star hotel. And
Still a big tip, I think.
It's still a bit, well,
Well,
okay,
maybe, I don't know. Maybe
but
I've
you
been
know
in
that
China too long.
The thing is, the guys are nice, you know, and it's normal people like you and me, you know, and you're like, if you give €2, because it goes like that, it's 1, 2, and then it's 5, you know. You feel awkward giving like 2 2s, or, you know, so you're going to go to 5, so is 5 enough? From 5, you go to 10, so what do you give?
Yeah.
Sometimes to cut all these confusion, because you know it's really a headache for us, people from countries where there is.